This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
The Gulf South
to your corner of the world.
This is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
Good evening, it's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana. Happy Sunday evening to all on a, hopefully for you, beautiful spring day. We've had one here. Took the Jeep out for a ride, top down, doors off. 80 degrees, sunshine. The smell of air that made me sneeze because my allergies don't like it as much as I do. So pop up a Zyrtec and we're good to go. Hopefully you guys are having a great evening wherever you might be. And hopefully you had a weekend of great DX and a week of great DX. You know, we've been doing this frequency challenge on 1450, so obviously we'll be talking about that. Hopefully you had a great week. Had a lovely week on 1450. It was so good. And then this weekend we had our Louisiana QSO party over on Ham Radio, so I got to partake in that and did a live stream from that yesterday into the evening hours, and had a lot of fun with that. You know, we whenever we do contests for Ham Radio, I'm not usually trying to compete with other people. I'm trying to compete with myself, and so trying to kind of do better than I've done before. And my previous record for a QSO party was 2017 in South Carolina. I scored 53,602 points over like a 12-hour, 24-hour period, whatever it was. Yesterday, in less than 12 hours, I did 51,100 and something points, I think it was. So didn't top that number, but came really close. Had a lot of fun doing it, despite the bands being absolutely just terrible. I mean, the solar conditions made it just absolutely awful. But you know, we had a lot of fun doing it. Still made a lot of QSOs. I think 37 states in 9 hours. 200 and almost 290 QSOs we did yesterday. So I digress. That's ham radio. We're here to talk about AM radio. But for those of you who are ham operators, that I know Bill, you were in there. Keegan, you were in there yesterday a bit, stopping by and saying hey. So thanks guys for your support. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun to partake and be part of the fun and the festivities yesterday from the Louisiana QSO party, which is when you're in your own state's QSO party. It's one of those rare times where you're the DX. And it can be a lot of fun when you have pile-ups on top of you, everybody trying to work you. So a lot of fun with that. But again, we're here to talk about AMDX, and what a great week it's been. 1450 has been quite the frequency for a lot of us here. I feel like I'm looking at the totals from the week so far, kind of our preliminary totals, and loving what I'm seeing. You guys are hearing a lot of good stuff. I had a huge week on 1450. I started the week hearing 2 stations on that frequency. I'm now up to, I think, 8. I think I heard 6 new ones this week, 5 or 6 new ones this week, if I'm right. So very productive, very beneficial to spend some time on this graveyard frequency. And don't forget it, we'll be announcing our new frequency here towards the top of the hour as well, so that we can all get ready for the next week, week 19. Actually, this was week 19. I guess we're getting ready for 20? Or did I have that backwards? Anyway, we're getting ready for another week of medium wave frequency challenge and a new challenge that I'm actually kind of excited about. This is going to be kind of a throwback challenge, if you will. To kind of some of the roots of this medium wave frequency challenge and kind of what got me wanting to go down this road. So we'll talk a bit about that here at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern. But we're getting ready to do some live DX. We're going to go over here on 1450. I've got my antennas now, my 3 CASs actually, pointed towards the south, the southeast, and the southwest. So we're going to do something we haven't done all week, which is look down south and see if we can have anything. I did a little bit on my southern antenna this week on 1450. Heard a couple of Florida stations, heard a Cuban. But I want to do a little bit more deep dive into that southern region to see if we have anything there that might be fruitful for us to take a look at. As always, appreciate you guys jumping on here and supporting the channel and letting us know in the chat what you heard this week. If you heard any new stations, any new states, any new countries, be sure to let us know in the chat so we can throw a celebration your way here a bit later on after the top of this hour when we get through our next top of the hour alert. Other than that, not a huge week of DX other than the ham radio thing and just spending some time on 1450. Did lose. We continuing with our theme of equipment that has bit the dust here. My brand new RCA rotor that I just recently purchased from my W6 LVP loop that I just put up. This one bit the dust this week. It was sitting here. I was using it actually. I just made a rotation to kind of check a different direction. I started smelling something in the shack, and this transformer started to go. The top of the unit was extremely hot. Wasn't flaming or smoking or anything, but it was probably pretty close. So gonna do some testing on this, see if I can figure out where the issue is, and maybe have to replace it if I can't fix it. And we also lost, where'd it go? I don't have it here. Lost our remote switch for our ham radio antennas. So yesterday during the contest, I was out unplugging the feed line into from one antenna and plugging it to the other one directly, as opposed to just flipping a switch like you usually do. Couldn't do that yesterday because I lost the remote switch. And that's without any lightning strikes, by the way. No lightning strikes here at the house. Nothing took it out, just died. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. Tried different power supplies, tried it on different power strips, tried a bunch of different ways to try to get it to work that I usually do for my troubleshooting. Nothing. So that's, let's see. The recap on that is a computer monitor, my surround sound receiver for my home theater system, an antenna switch, and an antenna rotor controller. All within, 2 weeks? Gone. Anywho, let's take a look around. We're going to be working tonight off of our usual assortment of equipment. We have our Perseus loaded up with our 2 CAS antennas. We have the northwest, southeast, and the southeast configuration. Tonight we have the northeast, southwest, and our southwest configuration. I'll change it up there at the top here in a bit. We also have the Elad FDM S3. Let me change my monitor here. Every time I restart, I have to change the monitors, and when I do, it changes which one works. And there we go. We have the Elad FDM S3. This is running the 2 W6LVP loops through the MFJ phaser. I'll also be probably switching this out for my RSPdx, which has our north-south antenna. So we're running all those tonight. We're getting close, about 4 minutes away from our top of the hour. So let's get started with some live AMDX here on 1450. And this hour of live DX is brought to you by the National Radio Club. NationalRadioClub.org is where you want to go for more information about becoming a member today. Please make sure you do so. It's not all that much money, and you get a whole bunch of benefit from it. You get discounts on publications. You get the DX News member bulletin that you can either have print mailed to you, like I do, which I love, having that copy I can just kind of leaf through, or you get the electronic version, your choice, which is a little bit more cost-effective if you're on a budget. So definitely make sure you check out nationalradioclub.org for more information. I guess it's about that time, isn't it, guys? We're ready to make a look around here for top of the hour time frame. Let's go. And it's top of the hour alerts, so you know what that means. Grab your radios, grab your antennas, and let's cycle up to 1450 kilohertz. See what we hear tonight here for the top of the hour this evening. And we're going to start with the Perseus and the... let's start southeast. Southwest, well, you know what? I might switch to southwest here in a minute if I don't hear anything on the southeast. We're going to start southeast, though, here on the Perseus and the Jaguar software. Let's go. So you guys have probably noticed, obviously, as we've noticed with a couple of these graveyards, we did... What was it? 1341s. We did 1230, 1240. We did 1490. I think was the other one we did. Maybe I don't remember now. This one's a little bit different. They all kind of have that mush thing going on, but you can definitely pull out some IDs if you're tenacious about it. Let me hit this Perseus vactrol control here. So this is the northwest southeast. We've also got the northeast southwest. A good thing that you can do to help yourself out is attenuate. I attenuate here or back off the RF gain. I've got full attenuation here. This is 30 dB of attenuation. And you hear how it kind of reduces the rumble and lets things kind of surface a bit. Easier, at least. This is my first soda in a month, by the way. Trying to kick the habit. Actually, it's my second one. I had one earlier today. I forgot about that. Today's a cheat day, though. I was hoping I'd have a shot down here at this Mexican station. XCRNB. No such luck. Did hear this one down here, though. Mayabec in Cuba. Radio Mayabec. Did hear them today, or this week, rather. week that they were there. Did get to hear, did hear Beaumont. Did get to hear that. There's a couple things in there, but I did too, Barry. And if I remember correctly, that is Pensacola, Florida, which kind of makes sense. Yeah, I can hear Peter in there too. All right, so we're past the top of the hour here. So here's what I found this week. Overnight was tough. Like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, midnight, this time of night were tough. They were really, really tough because it was just this. It was everybody kind of all together. Most of what I was able to find was around sunset, sunrise. Let's see. This week I got. Go back to my logbook here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 this week. And most of that was like kind of sunset, sunrise-y kind of time frame. Here's a sunrise. I'm looking right now, a sunrise. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at, actually. Because you know I like to do that. So we have the sunrise one here, KENA in Arkansas. We had Beaumont sunrise, 7 o'clock in the a.m. local time, 7:06 for Kena in Mena. Pensacola was an overnight, but it was 5 a.m., so it was just on the outside of that sunrise time. Brooksville, Florida was night, but it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, so that was one that did come in overnight. Mayabec in Cuba was, right around 1 o'clock in the morning, so there's 2 there. And then we had the one we heard last week during the time we were DXing here, KMHT in Marshall, that took forever to pull out. So yeah, it was a lot tougher outside of sunset, sunrise. So graveyard DXing sunset, sunrise seemed to be a little bit more enjoyable. You were able to kind of get a little bit more than usual. So, you know, nighttime DX, once everything kind of settles in, it's all kind of a mismatch. You might have something raise up every once in a while, but what I found, for those of you using SDRs, just setting up that kind of top of the hour time frame and kind of looking at the top of the hour was a good way to do it. Or if you have the room on a hard drive, if maybe you wanted to do like the entire sunset period or the entire sunrise period for a couple of days and just kind of dive in there and kind of see what's there. Because sometimes I noticed it wasn't always the top of the hour when it would pop up. You'd hear like a little liner or something around 45 or around 32 or somewhere in there, you know, past the hour. So just kind of a little bit of a different technique, making it kind of hard to do if you're just kind of focusing on that overnight period, which I know a lot of us do. That's kind of where we do most of our DXing is overnight, that we've shown that week after week with our wrap-up and results article that we post, which I'm still working on, by the way, for last week. I haven't forgot about that. It's been a crazy week. So I'll be posting that here pretty soon, along with the one from this week. But yeah, I feel like, you know, this is definitely one of those graveyards, spending some time on sunset, sunrise, backing off the RF gain or attenuating the signal as much as you can a little bit, to where you can still hear it, but it's just maybe not as boisterous of a rumble as usual. That kind of helped out. And I used some of those techniques to get a handful of additional stations that I hadn't heard before on this frequency. Let's take a quick look over here at the Elad FDMS3 now and see what we got on 1450 on our W6LVP loops. Close out some of these other programs I don't need right now. There we go. Because the audio buffering is pretty maxed out right now. That's why you're hearing that kind of clipping sound. Let me tighten it up just a little bit here down to 384 kilohertz, see if that makes it a little bit better for us. Because I'm not needing to record the entire bandwidth here. We can just go down to kind of tight coverage in our frequency. That's better. Not a whole lot there, huh? If I turn down my 2 loops, there it's gone. Okay, there's that. And that's my other loop. So this is the new loop that I just put up. Getting some noise. Here's my other loop. What if I can phase out some of that noise? Again, if you heard anything new this week, states, countries, or just a new station that you logged, let us know in the chat. Because here in a bit, after our next break, we're going to be coming back and doing some celebration and doing a unpoppable balloon drop. All right, Barry. So not hearing a whole lot of difference here. Let's now swap over. We're going to switch this up to our RSPdx, which is on our north-south wire. I wonder what that's all about. That's new. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and look at that. That's kind of odd. Have not had that happen before on that antenna. So we're going to swap back over to our loop then. And check that out. There we go. That's very odd. Not much of a difference here. All right, let's switch back to the Perseus then. Go ahead and get out of top of the hour mode here. And switch back to the Perseus and see what we got going on over here. Just a mash. Alan, I read an article on this actually. I think it was Larry, W6LVP himself, kind of addressed this in the owner's manual for his antennas. There's really, from what he's researched, there's not really for his antenna at least. I don't know about all the others, but for his antenna, there's not really a benefit for height. There's no height. The biggest thing for his antenna is getting it away from noise or sources of noise, getting it as far away from like a structure as possible. When I was in Charleston, I had mine. A mast attached to a shed in the backyard, which was kind of at that distance was equidistant from my house, my neighbor's house, my other neighbor's house, my other neighbor's house. It was kind of right in the middle between all of our four houses. So it was as far away as I could possibly get it from any other structures. And there was not a shed that had power in it, so it was nothing there. But I mean, I know my father up in North Carolina, he has a little PVC H stand that you guys have seen me use with my portable before. He uses that for his regular loop and kind of leaves it just kind of sitting there on the ground. Then he moves it wherever he needs to, like if he's cutting the grass or whatever. Makes it a lot easier. I permanently mount mine. Mine are sitting on the top of 10-foot top rail fence posts. And then, so there's the top rail fence post of like 10.5 feet. You got the rotor on top of that, which is about another foot. Then you got the mast inside that, and the antenna is about another foot up above that. So you've got basically 12 feet, 13 feet or so. That's where all mine are sitting at. And I've never had any issues with that. I could have it much, much lower if I needed to or wanted to. I've seen plenty of DXers just kind of have it sitting on their balcony. And it does great, like first floor balcony, just sitting on their balcony on like a little portable stand. Does great. So that's one of the great things about mag loops. is that they are not. This is not like a VHF thing. VHF, you want it as high as possible, right? Like a Yagi beam for an FMDX. You want it as high as possible. That's not what we're really kind of talking about here. Height doesn't make that much of a difference. So, from my understanding, at least, your experience may vary, but that's what I've read and all the literature that I have read. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to do some more DX. We're going to pop some balloons here in a second for everybody to kind of celebrate what we heard this week. And, we're going to check out some more DX and get ready for our next frequency of the week and see what is behind that curtain. So stay tuned. More DX Central Live coming up right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by... Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor Member Bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
DX Central Live on Sunday nights right here on YouTube from our North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana. Nice, beautiful spring day. Just absolutely gorgeous weather. This is my time of year. My kind of weather. My favorite time of the year. I try to combine words sometimes, guys. You know that. All right, so yeah, the frequency this week was 1450. I see you guys kind of talking about how much of a challenge it was. And it was a challenge. Alan looks like he says it was a challenge, but man, you got all the stuff here, right? 15, is that what I read? 15? 16 stations. Save some DX for the rest of us here. Yeah. The rest of us didn't have such a easy time. But no, that's the whole point of these frequency challenges, is to kind of stress and stretch our abilities a bit, get us out of our comfort zone. I've kind of felt like with my own DXing, I was kind of just doing the same thing over and over, DXing the same frequencies at the same time, and just kind of doing the same old. And I was getting the same results. I was hearing the same stations, and it was like, I guess I've heard everything there is to hear now, which is definitely not true. I mean, I lost count of how many stations I've added to my logbook this year just because of our frequency challenge. It's been quite a bit. I'd love to know when we get down to our May 1st episode, our last of season 2. I'm hoping to be able to, before then, if not probably after, to look at kind of everyone's stuff all together and kind of see what we did together as a group. But definitely, look at your own stuff that you've done during this stretch. And let me know, as we get closer to kind of closing it out on May 1st, how many stations did you add to your logbook that you didn't have before that you have now because of the frequency challenge? To me, that's where it kind of is a proof of concept, right? If we just spend some time stretching our comfort zone out a little bit and doing something we don't normally do, then we're going to get results that we don't normally get. And I think that's, this frequency challenge has been kind of validation for me on that. So that's, that's the whole thing. That's why we're doing this, which is going to come in again here in a few moments, about 39 minutes or so when we announce the new frequency of the week. You'll hear me talk a bit more about that, because this can be kind of a throwback frequency for our frequency challenge this week. So, anywho, 1450 is where we've been. If you've got a frequency you want us to check out, please make sure you let us know in the chat if you'd like to have us go check out a frequency out. Maybe that's not 1450. You want us to see if we're hearing the same thing you are. All of our antennas right now are pointing towards the south, southeast, southwest. So I'm looking down Latin American kind of place, things along those lines. So if you want to hear maybe something Latin America, you want to see if you're hearing what we're hearing, let me know. We have a decent Latin American spot here on the Gulf Coast, I've found so far. It's not maybe as good as Charleston. I have a better look at like Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic and stuff like that in Charleston than I do here, which makes sense. If you look at the map, I mean, it's almost a direct saltwater path between them and where I used to live. Now, a little bit tougher with Cuba and Florida and stuff in between us. But still have a decent shot in the Central America, Mexico, Cuba here, Colombia, stuff like that. So if you have something down there you want us to take a look for, we would love to do that. Again, if you've heard something new this week, maybe something new that you've added to your logbook, new station, new state, new country, we would love to celebrate with you here. So for those of you who added a new station to your logbook that you had never heard before on 1450 or another frequent, didn't have to be 1450, it could be anything you heard this week that was new for you. Let's go ahead and celebrate now. So for me, I added six new stations that I had not heard before on 1450, which took me from 2 stations heard up to 8. So yeah. And this is for all of you guys as well, who might have got a new one that you hadn't heard before. Congratulations to you all. And if you have one that you want to drop in there, we'll call it out here on the live stream and make sure everybody knows that you got some cool stuff this week. So yeah, we have 5 episodes left with this week included, 4 episodes after this week, 4 weeks left of the challenge. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. So be getting ready for May 1st to kind of close us out for this DX season, for medium wave frequency challenge at least, in our live streams, and then we're kind of gearing up for FM season. We've had a little bit of Tropo here already, which has been nice. We did have a very nice, I mentioned last week, a nice Tropo opening that got me down into Mexico for the first time, which was awesome. And I know April and May are, I hear,
fantastic months for Gulf Tropo as well. It was pretty good in Charleston as well, up and down the coast, but it was always North Carolina. It was always Florida. It was North Carolina or Florida. I could never seem to get up into Virginia. I could never seem to get much down into Georgia. Could never seem to get much down past, Florida into maybe Cuba or something like that. And definitely nothing inland. North Carolina inland, like it was all coastal North Carolina. So here with the Gulf Tropo, I've got Texas, I've got Mexico, I've got Alabama, I've got Mississippi, I've got a little bit of Georgia, a little bit of Florida in there. I've got maybe something up into Arkansas or Oklahoma or maybe Tennessee if we get something that goes further inland. I'm really hoping to see some of that going on with Gulf Tropo this year. So fingers crossed. And of course, we're all hoping for a fantastic e-skip season like we had last year. My God, it was such a good season last year. So let's hope we have another one of those on the way. All right, so again, this hour of Live DX is brought to us by NationalRadioClub.org. NationalRadioClub.org is a website for more information about becoming a member today, so make sure you check that out. And let's go back to our Perseus here with our southeast and our southwest antennas. We're sitting on 1450, but again, if you have a frequency you want us to go to, then let us know. We'll pop down there as well somewhere. So looks like 1450 has been a tough one for a lot of us here this week, and let's see if we can squeeze something else out here. And I'm on the northeast southwest. I'm hoping to get something along those lines, Barry, on the Tropo here on FM, because I think I mentioned last week when I used to live in New Orleans previously. I just started AMDXing like 2 months before we moved, so I never did do any FM while I was here. So I never had a chance to do the FM Tropo down here in the Gulf Coast like I'm wanting to do now. Bill had 7 new ones this week. Good job, Bill. 7 new stations logged this week. Love it. Yeah, we're doing week 20 now. We're about to start here in about 33 minutes. We'll be week 20. If you can believe it. And as always, if you guys have any guesses about where you think that we're heading for this week's challenge, let us know in the chat as well. Always love seeing those guesses. Sometimes I can mine some ideas from there. Does it remind you of Big Lebowski, Rick? When he's having the bowling dream, the condition my condition is in. The condition my condition is in. Barry, I got my vactrol from another DXer who builds them from time to time. I don't know that he's doing them right now. I can point you to him, though, so you can reach out and see. Yeah, I think he has right now, Barry. That's what I heard last time. The ones that I got in a couple weeks ago, I got in before he had paused production. I got the order in, and it took a little while for those to get in because he does it in his spare time when he's doing them. But yeah, I'd heard he'd paused production on those for right now. Again, we're on the southwest wire right now. Northeast, southwest, pointing southwest though. Which, with the vactrol, I can dial back in the northeast a little bit if I need to, but otherwise I can really kind of point it more southwest.
That don't be counting him as the MVP. If he had his nose in front, maybe even his whole head in front at some point during this year, he may have fallen behind, but battling back on the inside.
Speaking of, actually,
44 threw up a 40 spot. And while he was out,
let me do this real quick.
44 and 17 for Embiid. And the reason why it's an MVP like performance. Let me give you the shooting numbers on the other Sixers. Tobias Harris, 4 of 14. That's 6. Tyrese Maxey, 4 of 11. That's no good. James Harden, 4 of 13. That's Harden did have 10 assists and 10 rebounds, so he had a triple-double, but 4 of 13 from the field is nothing special. But Harden and Embiid both. There's 2 top players in the NBA to get the foul line. Think they did that today? Yeah, a little bit. And Embiid 17 of 20 from the line. Harden 11 of 12 from the line. He's only 4 of 13 from the field. He's 11 of 12 from the line. You get it, 21 points. Anybody see? DeAndre Jordan 3 for 3. The Sixers bench shot it better than their starters did. Niang 2 of 4, Reed 1 of 2, Jordan 3 of 3, Milton 1 of 1. Furkan Korkmaz only one of his shoot 50% from the field, 0 for 50. The Sixers got a much speed win, and the team got 44.
There we go. That was bugging me. Sorry, guys. That was making me antsy not having the right stuff up there. DXer.ca. That's the website you go to for that vactrol information. It's got schematics up there if you're handy with a soldering iron and a circuit board. DXer.ca. He also has a chat room up there, DXer.ca/blab, that I always recommend our DXer friends to go up and check out. That I receive at Jody McMahon, JODYMACMAN, will be Mac Daddy tweeted. Send it out now, because I got to read it and read it against the others that we've already seen before the show ends, and we're starting to run down the clock. Here's that website, DXer.ca/blab. Rick's in there. So you can go in here and chat with other DXers as you're doing your DX. See if this is Fox, ESPN, or CBS Sports Radio. I've heard all 3 this week on this frequency. Sounds like Fox, which would probably make this Pensacola, which would make sense if I'm dialing in some Northeast here. I can get rid of them, though, if I dial that Northeast out. That's dialing the Northeast back in.
With 22 points and 15 assists.
So probably Pensacola here. The BBSR.
Trailing the Heat 111-103. Fourth quarter, Seawolves on top. The Rockets 126. Finals, Thunder over the Suns 117-96. Spurs 113. Blazers 92. Knicks over the Magic 118-88. 76ers beat the Cavs 112-108. Joel Embiid 44 points, 17 rebounds. Wizards fall to the Celtics 144-102. Nuggets 129. Lakers 118. The Pistons over the Pacers 121-117. Baseball, Padres acquire pitcher Sean Manaea and pitcher Aaron Holiday from the A's for 2 prospects. Down to the NFL, Frank Gore signs a 1-year deal with the 49ers and has retired. NHL in the first, Kraken 1, Stars nothing. The second, Oilers 4, Ducks nothing. Third period scores. Golden Knights and Canucks tied at 2. Flyers and Rangers tied at 3. Wild beat the Caps 4-1. Coyotes and Blackhawks tied at 2. Final, Islanders 4, Devils 3. Senators 5, Red Wings 2. Panthers over the Sabres 5-3. Golf, J.J. Spann won the Texas Open. NASCAR, Denny Hamlin wins at Richmond. I'm Peter Schwartz.
This is Bill Ryder. CBS Sports Radio has moved to SiriusXM
CBS.
158, and you can always listen to us on your local affiliate station, the Odyssey app, or your smart speaker.
That makes this Beaumont. KIKR, which is Southwest. That makes sense. So we're dialed in on the Southwest. That makes total sense. So you guys know I like to do some promotion for our friends of the channel here whenever I can. Make sure you give our friend Keegan here a subscribe to his channel as well. If you're subscribing to our channel, you should be subscribing to Keegan's as well. Keegan DXer is what you want to search for here. He's got a new video up about his rebrand that he's just done on his channel. So make sure you hit subscribe for him. And show some support to those who support us. And obviously, if you have a YouTube channel or something along those lines, we would love to know, because we want to give you a subscribe as well, because you guys have been so great in supporting us. We want to support you back and spread the word. This should be Beaumont, though. Another friend of the channel here, I want to make sure that we put a shout out to. Our friend SDR Musings does a great job with the live meteor radio echoes. Great channel to do watching if you're looking for meteor scatter. Again, that's SDR Musings. That's what you want to look for there. I can give you some good options here, Keegan, that'll help you if you want. If you're looking for that kind of stuff, DaVinci Resolve is a good video making program. It's free. DaVinci Resolve. And hey, if it works, baby. That's what I say. If it works, it works. Same here, Steve. Oh, I'd love to put something like that up. One day I will. Along with a couple of 22 by 140 decases. One day. Look at that. This is a great technique for graveyarders, guys. You can hear CBS Sports Radio. They're in there, right? Kind of in the pocket on upper sideband. Let's switch to lower sideband. Watch what happens. Brings them up. So that's another option for graveyard frequencies. Turn down the RF gain or attenuate. Pop back and forth, lower and upper sideband. Of course, they faded out now as soon as I said that. As soon as I demonstrated, they're going to go. That's what they do. It's these guys right here, though, Beaumont. That's a tough one, Steve. Any kind of best SDR conversation is tough, right? Because there's so many variables there. Your budget, what kind of, in this case you're doing FM obviously, but is there other DX you want to do with this SDR? You're going to incorporate AMDX into it, shortwave. You're going to do some scanning with VHF, UHF, stuff like that. You're going to do live DX. You're going to be recording that you review later on. What kind of antenna are you going to be running into it? There's all kinds of factors that kind of go into kind of what that best SDR choice would be. Same thing on AM, right? What kind of, are you looking for Latin DX? You're looking for international stuff? You're looking for more domestic? You're going to be doing live DX or doing a recording? What's your budget? All those kinds of things. I'll tell you right now, the best one I have ever used, regardless of price and everything else, is the Elad FDM S3. Absolutely, bar none, best FM SDR I have ever used. It's absolutely fantastic. It's super selective. It's got very adequate sensitivity, and 24 megahertz of bandwidth. I can do the entire FM band at once. And I did that last year during several eSkip openings. So you can see it, right? You can see the entire band. Even if you're not recording the entire band, you can see the entire band, and you can actually see if there's openings there or not. Because, if you look in your normal dead band, you got big gaps and stuff, and now those gaps are filled in. Guess what? Something's going on that's not normal. So that's mine. It's not cheap. I saved up for a while to get that one. But it is an absolute dynamite FM rate. It's great at AM too. That's why I use it here. It's a fantastic SDR for AM and FM. But the FM is just having that entire bandwidth like that, 24 megahertz wide. I can't imagine FM DXing without it. Now, I also do have my Sony XDR F1 HD sitting up here that I'll be putting over here on the desk for eSkip season as kind of a spotter. But the Elad FDM S3, when it comes to FM, is just, it's untouchable for me personally. Or I'll ask if it's better for the Perseus. On AM, the only reason I will say no is because I can't run Jaguar with Elad. Otherwise, if I could run the Jaguar software with my Elad FDM S3, which I think they're working on, possibly, but if I could do that, that'd be tough. I mean, because that Elad is just so fantastic. I'd have to do a side-by-side with both of them running Jaguar, because Jaguar also kind of alters the audio characteristics a little bit of the medium wave signal to kind of fine-tune it for medium wave DXing. So I'd have to hear how that kind of colors it side-by-side to really know. But if I could use the Jaguar with my Elad, that'd be a tough thing for me to say no to. The Perseus is amazing on AM. I mean, it's sitting here in use right now. I absolutely love that SDR. Love it. But do you need it? I mean, if the Jaguar software is not really a thing for you that you're interested in, my AirSpy HF Plus Discovery, RSPdx SDRPlay, fantastic SDRs. Much cheaper, but fantastic SDRs. It really, when it comes down to it, it's what you're willing to spend, what's your budget, and what are you going to be plugging into it, and how you're going to use it as well. But, like for the Perseus, there's no FM. There's nothing above 30 megahertz on the Perseus. So if I was looking for a one-stop SDR that's going to give me AM and FM, I'm not going Perseus. It's AM and HF only. That's it. That's all I'm doing. In lower bands as well, like VLF and stuff, or I guess long wave. So yeah, if I was looking at stuff like that, if I'm just looking at HF and lower, Perseus is going to be great. If I want to have a single SDR that incorporates FM and above, Perseus isn't going to be it. The Elad is going to work. The AirSpy, the RSPdx, fantastic choices. But for FMDX, for me, having that entire 24 megahertz wide, that's for me my absolute favorite. The RSPdx gets me 10 megahertz. So nothing to sneeze at, and I'm going to test it out more this FM season because I kind of got spoiled with the Elad last year. Didn't really do it a whole lot on the RSPdx, but that's 10 megahertz, so you can still see a lot. And a lot of times I do actually the Elad in 10 megahertz bandwidth because I'm trying not to fill up my hard drive too fast. And you can still see with 10 megahertz wide, you can still see the band openings pretty easily.
I do that a lot, especially in Tropo. When I'm doing E-skip, I'm trying to run the entire band because I don't miss anything, right? But if it's a Tropo opening where I have a little more time, 10 megahertz is fine. So the RSPdx is a good one for FM. AirSpy's HF Plus Discovery. I mean, it's got a very narrow bandwidth, 910 kilohertz. So you're not going to get a huge chunk of the band, but the performance, if you're just live DXing, frequency by frequency, old school style, it's hard to beat. Plus, you can do an RDS scanner with those. I'm not going to get into all that, but you can do an RDS scanner. So even while you're not sitting at the radio, it can sit there and scan through all the frequencies and log whenever it gets RDS wise, and you can do stuff like that. So I mean, there's options out there, but if money's no object, Elad FDMS3 for FMDX. If it is a little more of a consideration and you want something a little more, affordable, the RSP suite, my RSPdx is fantastic for FM, but I know the Duo, I think it's the Duo, RSP Duo. You can actually do 2 independent FM antenna inputs, and you can actually phase them in the software in SDR Uno. I'm keen to try that out, but I haven't done that yet. So there you go. What you guys talking about? So we covered that. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, we've kind of covered the topic here. Let's do a quick break. We're about to get ready to announce our new frequency of the week. I'm gonna do a very, very quick break here. And when we come back, we're gonna announce our new frequency for week 20. And we'll get ready to hop on that frequency here. So stay tuned. More DX Central Live coming up right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor Member Bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
With DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana. Thank you guys, as always, for being part of the fun. Talking about FM SDRs, I see you guys also mentioning kind of the portable FMDX machine as well. Let me tell you something. These little Sangeans, this is the HDR 14. There's also a little bit bigger one, the 16. Fantastic FMDX machines. Absolutely love this radio. Pretty good at AM too, by the way. I take this with me when I go on trips along with my AirSpy HF Plus Discovery and do little band scans. Fantastic AM radio, really good on FM. And the bigger brother, the 16, is actually pretty good too. So if you're looking for this one's under $100. I think it's actually under like $60. And I'm pretty sure that the big brother, the 16, is around at or so, which I'm actually considering getting one of those as well. All right, so we're getting ready for top of the hour here. We're going to do a top of the hour alert in a second. I'm also going to go ahead and get ready to paste in the new Google form for this week's new frequency so we can get started on DXing there. So about to close out in 1450, so you've got a little bit of time if you still need to get your logs in for week 19 with 1450 kilohertz. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and start up week 20. Can't believe we're already doing that. Week 20. Before we do that, though, this hour of live AMDX, or this session we're about to do here, is brought to you by International Radio Club of America. It's ircaonline.org. It's where you want to go for more information about becoming a member of the IRCA. Get your digital copy of DX Monitor and also be able to have access to their publications as well. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to this week's frequency. This one is a flashback, in a way, kind of a throwback to what got me thinking about this concept of the medium wave frequency challenge, having one frequency that all week long, all we do is we all DX that frequency and see what all we can get. So this is the frequency that got me thinking about this last year when New York went off the air, right? And kind of all of us were DXing now on this frequency and comparing notes of what we were hearing, because it was like, wow, all of a sudden now I have this opportunity, especially us East Coast folks, to DX on a frequency that we hadn't really had a chance to DX on, because New York had kind of dominated the frequency. So without further ado, we're going to go spend some time on 1560. So let's go ahead and get the old red alert out. We're going to drop the new Google form in the chat here in a second, and we're going to spin the dial here on the Perseus up to 1560, and let's see what we got. And surprise, surprise, here in Louisiana, it's Houston. One of two stations I have on this frequency so far.
Máy karaoke, thủ rượu, thác nước, ghế pedestal, tất cả mọi thứ lúc nào cũng rẻ hơn online cả và còn giao hàng miễn phí trên toàn quốc.
Vậy mình mau đi đến Direct Furniture đi anh. Trong 19 năm qua, Lãng Nguyễn và các anh em tại Direct Furniture xin cảm tạ và chúc mừng 100.000 khách hàng đã sử dụng các dịch vụ của công ty.
That's on the southwest antenna. Here's the southeast. See if I can get rid of them.
Bạn đã có bác sĩ gia đình chưa? Khi bạn bị chứng khi nhẹ hay cảm cúm mà không muốn vào phòng cấp cứu chờ đợi lâu, bạn phải làm sao?
A little bit of phasing, I could probably do it. Well, let's go ahead and swing that right at them, southwest.
Có nhân viên nói tiếng Việt, có máy chụp X-quang và phòng thử máu rất tiện nghi. Xin hãy gọi cho chúng tôi số 281-766-5480, 281-766-5480. NMT Health One, cuộc sống vui khỏe trong tầm tay. Công ty Deputy Memorial xin thông báo.
So I think for a lot of us here,
ngay biên giới Richmond, Hoosier,
KGOW here in Houston is going to be a big, dominant one for a lot of us.
Đang có giá đặc biệt rất rẻ trong thời gian khai trương.
And was it Bakersfield?
Và công ty chỉ cho trong thời gian rất ngắn. Giá chỉ ưu tiên
Yeah, Bakersfield out in California. I know you guys will have that to deal with. And over here on the East Coast, it's a mix mash now that FME is no longer the dominant station.
Vợ chán, vợ chê, dùng ổi tôm, mát, vợ mê, tới già. Khi phái mạnh không còn được mạnh do áp lực công việc hay do tuổi tác.
So we've got the new Google form in the chat. We're about 20 seconds away from top of the hour ID, hopefully.
Sau 2 tuần sử dụng, sản phẩm có tên Oyster Max Gold với chiết xuất đặc biệt từ hào đá, kem ma cà và cỏ Honey Gold giúp quý anh cải thiện chuyện yêu một cách hiệu quả, kéo dài thời gian yêu được lâu hơn và bồi bổ thận. Sản phẩm hiện đang được bán độc quyền tại Vinashop. Để được tư vấn nhanh chóng và tận tình nhất, xin hãy nhấc phone lên và gọi ngay vào số điện thoại 1855 855 5888 1855 855 5888. Nụ cười đẹp với hàm răng trắng đều là một ưu thế vượt trội trong mọi mối quan hệ xã hội và giao tiếp với dụng cụ hiện đại cùng phương pháp chăm sóc và chữa trị nha khoa nhẹ nhàng, kỹ lưỡng, chuyên nghiệp.
AC Smile Dental sẽ giúp quý vị tìm lại sự tự tin và nụ cười tỏa sáng. AC Smile Dental trên đường Mê Lê trong khu chợ Tân Bình do bác sĩ nha khoa An Cao đảm trách.
Nhận các loại bảo hiểm Medicare, Medicaid, Chip, PPO đặc biệt giảm giá cho quý vị không có bảo hiểm.
AC Smile Dental 832 617 8518. AC Smile Dental, tất cả vì nụ cười của quý vị.
Gia đình thằng David sắp qua nhà học cuối công trình mà đêm qua mưa bão làm hỏng hết máy rồi. Biết kêu ai đây mấy nhà cho kịp bên đông ra qua nhìn cho nó khang trang tươm tất đây không?
Look at that.
Công ty trong tay hàng trăm mấy nhà đã bị mưa đá và dông bão làm thiệt hại. Đặc biệt công ty của tôi
got no Cuba here.
để được thay mái nhà mới nữa đấy bà cứ gọi từ
A couple of Mexican stations far from Houston. We got a local here, SLA in Slidell, Louisiana.
Listening to Bit Radio on KGOW 1560 AM, Bel Air, Houston, Texas.
Rick, they do a sign off around sunset here. They just drop. Middle programming just disappear. I've heard it quite a few times. Steve, yes it does. RDS is on there, yeah. I mean, it's depending on the program that you use, obviously. SDR Console, yes. Elad FDM SW2 software, yes. But I also, I'll give you a tip here in a second on that. So let's see if I can get rid of him here for a second.
Thành phố thủ phủ của vùng Jenin là tâm điểm của cuộc xung đột. Nông dân và chủ trang trại cũng đã tham gia tuần hành để đòi giảm giá phân bón, cũng như yêu cầu một giải pháp cho chi phí sinh hoạt tăng vọt ở quốc gia Nam Mỹ này. Những người biểu tình tìm cách thiết lập một cuộc đối thoại với tổng thống và thủ tướng. Những người vẫn đang tìm kiếm một giải pháp cho vấn đề khủng hoảng nêu trên. Thưa quý vị, nhiếp ảnh gia Ukraine và các nghiên cứu là Levin đã thiệt mạng trong chiến tranh. Martin Levin là một nhiếp ảnh gia và là nhà quay phim đang làm việc cho một trang web tin tức của Ukraine và cũng là một cộng tác viên lâu năm đã tham vấn rotor đã thiệt mạng khi đang đưa tin về cuộc xâm lược Ukraine của Nga. Thi thể của ông được tìm thấy tại một ngôi làng ở mạn bắc thủ đô Kiev của Ukraine vào thứ Sáu ngày 1 tháng 4. Levin sinh năm 1981 là một nhà làm phim tài liệu đã cung cấp tin tức cho hãng thông tấn Reuters về đất nước Ukraine từ năm 2013. Ông qua đời khi đang làm việc ở làng Kukarmetichka, là nơi từng bị pháo kích dữ dội. Văn phòng tổng công tố Ukraine cho biết Levin đã bị các quân nhân của lực lượng vũ trang Nga giết.
They're a tough one to get rid of.
Tuy nhiên thông tin này không thể được xác minh. Trong khi đó, một bản tin cho biết Đức Giáo hoàng Francis lần đầu tiên ngầm chỉ trích Putin về vấn đề Ukraine. Giáo hoàng Francis đã ngầm chỉ trích tổng thống Vladimir Putin về cuộc xâm lược của Nga tại Ukraine. Ông hôm thứ Bảy ngày 2 tháng 4 và cho rằng ông ta đang kích động xung đột. Moscow cho biết cuộc hành quân vào ngày 24 tháng 2 là một hoạt động quân sự đặc biệt được thiết kế không phải để chiếm lãnh thổ, mà nhằm phi quân sự hóa nước láng giềng. Đức Giáo hoàng Francis đã gọi đó là một cuộc chiến. Đức Giáo hoàng đã lên án mạnh mẽ hành động xâm lược phi lý và tố cáo hành động tàn bạo trong chiến tranh. Nhưng Ngài chỉ trực tiếp đề cập đến Nga trong những lời cầu nguyện. Trước đó,
I feel like I'm getting a little bit of ground wave mixed in here, so it's really hard to phase when you're getting multiple different signal paths like this.
Một trại tập trung của người Ukraine tại biên giới Hoa Kỳ Mexico đã tăng lên khi nhiều người tị nạn đến. Hàng trăm người Ukraine đang cắm trại ở thành phố biên giới Tijuana của Mexico với hy vọng.
Because I'm actually finding two. Normally, you can only find one phase path. I'm finding two here. So here's one. Where I can drop them pretty significant. That's about as close as I can get it right now. And based on, I feel like I'm just nulling out the ground wave on this one. Then I've got a second path. If I reverse my phase, I've got a second null here. That's a tough one. So I mean, yeah, I can pull him back quite a bit, but normally I can get rid of a station, but I feel like I'm getting a combination of their ground wave and sky wave here, because I actually have two null points I can find on the phaser box. I feel like this is the sky wave, which leaves me the ground. And then I can null out the ground, which leaves me the sky. See, they're still going to be in there, but I can definitely make them not as much of a nuisance here. And I also have to throw it in lower sideband here because I have 1570 out of Mexico with my antennas pointing to the south. So that's the other thing is I'll have to try this again when I flip my antennas northwest and northeast, see if that helps me get rid of them. But right now, one of my antennas is pointing right at these guys pretty much right off the side of it. The other one's kind of pointing opposite, but still getting influenced by that ground wave. So there you go. 1560 is our frequency of the week. So really quick back to the topic. Steve asked about RDS. So what I usually do with my FMDX is I'll run whatever native RDS decoder is in the software I'm using, like SDR Console or the Elad program or HD SDR or AirSpy's SDR Sharp. Whatever software I'm running, I will run the native RDS decoding box that shows RDS in there.
And then I also use a program called RDS Spy, which should be popping up here in a second. There it is. It looks like this. It's this little bitty window right here. And the reason I do that is because a lot of times I'll notice a decode, an RDS decode in SDR Console, let's say. That's not legit. It's not really the decode. But I won't see that same decode happening in RDS Spy, or vice versa. Sometimes I'll see a code on RDS Spy that I don't see in SDR Console. If I see it in both, now I feel like I've got a legit decode. And so when I see it pop up in both, not always, sometimes I'll see it in one and not the other, and it's perfectly legit. But if I do see it in both, now I'm feeling much more confident that I've got the right thing. It's not, even then, sometimes I'll see the same decode in both, and it's not legit. It just depends on what that station is sending. But it increases my confidence in it if I see that decode in both. To do RDS Spy, you actually have to do a little bit of virtual audio cable magic. And I believe, if I remember correctly, I do have a video here on the channel where I talk about doing that. Let me go here. I think if I search RDS... Yeah. I have a video here on the channel called Setting Up RDS Spy in SDR Sharp. So you can search the channel for it. Setting up RDS Spy in SDR Sharp. The same process works, though, with SDR Console, HD SDR. It's all the same stuff, basically. A couple of little nuances here and there. But if you search for that video, that's how you can get your software, your SDR software, to work with RDS Spy and still use the RDS decoder that's native and built into your program. So hopefully that helps a little bit. But yeah, those are all based on software. So the radio itself is just a conduit, and it's just shipping the audio to your software. The software is where the RDS decode happens. So as long as the software you have does RDS decode, which they all do and should, then you should be good to go. All right, so let's look at here. We got 1560 for this week. Again, KGOW probably dominating for most of us in the U.S. here. But I know, especially East Coast folks, you got a bit here that you can play with. West Coast folks, if you can get past KGOW and or Bakersfield, folks out west, either West Coast or West Midwest area, Texas, and that sort of thing. If you can get past Upper Midwest, our friends up in like Nebraska and whatnot, if you can get past some of those stations, then you might have a shot at some good stuff out over here in kind of the Indiana, Ohio. I think there was a Virginia station I remember hearing when FME went off the air and stuff like that. So there's lots of options here for us. So hopefully 1560 is a fun one for you. I know when FME went off the air last year and opened up this Pandora's box for all of us, I logged like 10 stations, like bam, 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 because I was just spending all this time on 1560, sunrise, sunset. And I was like, man, I'm hearing all this stuff I've never heard before. It's so amazing. And I remember thinking, I was like, we should do this. Someone should do. And so that's where the Medium Wave Frequency Challenge was born. Was from that experience. All right, so I know you guys want to go ahead and get started here with your DX. So I've put the link in the Google chat, or the chat for the Google form for everyone to begin their log submission. Here in a bit, I'll put it up on social media, on the Facebook groups, my Twitter account, and on the email reflectors. That way you guys can have that as well. So I'll be announcing that to everybody who wasn't on the live stream tonight. And then, yeah, go forth and have fun on 1560, my friends. And hopefully you hear lots of great DX. We're going to go let the dog out for a walk and finish up our week here. Got some work we need to do. So go ahead and wrap up for tonight. As always, thank you to the IRCA and the NRC for your continued support of DX Central's live stream, our DXC Live. And thank you all for jumping on our live stream as you always do. Appreciate you all being here. Always so much fun getting to see the conversations going on in the chat. And, the good fun that we do have. And yes, Bill, they are back. They're just super reduced power from what they used to be, 50K signal. So, all right. So have fun, my friends. Take care. Enjoy this week. We'll be putting out the results from last week and the week before that, probably tomorrow or Tuesday, and letting those folks who got the top dog challenge winner spot, and we'll announce those for everybody. I have a feeling I know who got this week and last week's.
we'll double check and make sure. Have fun, my friends. Take care. 73 Best of DX. We'll see you next time right here on DX Central Live.
This is DX Central Live.